We are the original Saturday Menudo Club, except no substitutes. Ya no más.
Hi, I am Elsa. You are watching the Saturday Menudo Club ZoomCast with host Carmen Cavazos and co-host Andy Valadez. Please like, share, follow, and visit SaturdayMenudoClub.com. Ya no más. Stay hungry, my friends.
All right, welcome back. My name is Andy Valadez. I'm your co-host of Saturday Menudo Club, the ZoomCast, which we say is actually better than a podcast because it's a ZoomCast. Here with your host, Carmen Cavazos. Hey, Carmen, how you doing today?
Hey, hello, everyone. I'm doing just fantastic for a Monday.
You know, we're having too much fun with the Saturday Menudo Club thing. You know, we have our own Saturday Menudo Club song now.
I heard it.
We're
It's a great
debut it.
jingle. It
We're going to
almost,
debut. Go ahead.
it makes you want to put your heels on and just start dancing.
Yeah, you know, the song actually made me cry. It was kind of reminiscent of, you know, the way my grandparents taught me to be. You know, they used to lay hands on me and pray, and or, you know, they worked hard, had uncles and aunts, you know, and they encourage education, hard work, and being good citizens in the community. So this song is kind of a Tejano folk song, and we're going to debut it at our next Menudo Club December 6th. And so it's on our website now if you go to SaturdayMenudoClub.com. But we did it in AI. These tools are so amazing. But anyway, we've got an awesome guest again, and I'm going to let you take over and run the show, please.
Yes, great. So starting off on a great note, thank you, Andy. Yes, the song is fantastic. It really does touch the soul. But that's what the Saturday Menudo Club is all about. It's about bringing great conversation, people, candidates, activists together and touching that inner passion that we all carry. So with that being said, we have an amazing guest with us today. She was actually at our last meeting on November the 1st. And let me tell you, her presentation is captivating. And we would love for her to introduce herself with the background that she has so thoroughly gained under her. But let me introduce her. We do have, and I want to say, Your Honor in Waiting, Miss Lesli FItzpatrick, and she is running for the Texas Criminal Court of Appeals, place 3. Is that correct, Miss Lesli?
So actually, and you know, people say it that way all the time. It's actually the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, place 3. But everybody wants to put the criminal part first. So I understand that because this court is the highest criminal appellate court in the state of Texas. It is the last resort for criminal cases.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us, I know why, but tell our audience why it is that you would be the perfect candidate to run in this race. What's led you to this position at this point in your life? A little bit about how you got here and a little bit why you got here and how you see yourself moving forward should and when you do get elected.
Thank you, Carmen. Well, you know, I started out when I graduated from law school back in 2000. I knew I was going to be in the courtroom. I went to South Texas College of Law in Houston, lived down there for 3 years to go to school, and was very active in their Board of Advocacy program, which is probably the premier in the country. Did not know that, but God knew that. So he sent me to the best law school to equip me for the plan that he had for my life. And my first job was an assistant county attorney out in Odessa, Texas. And if you know anything about Odessa, Texas, it is predominantly blue collar, oil field. And so I had an opportunity to cut my teeth on all kinds of criminal cases. I saw everything out there. Was in trial all the time, tried over 20 cases in the 2 years that I was there to a jury. Went into private practice because I decided I wanted to have a balanced perspective of the practice of law. The scales of justice are balanced. And so I went into private practice and I defended criminals that were charged with misdemeanors and felonies. And at that time, I even got licensed to practice in front of the United States Federal Court of Appeals, the Fifth Circuit, and did some appeal work there. did some appeal work when I was in the county attorney's office as well. And then while I was in that private practice, the district attorney's office called me up and wanted me to come back and be a felony prosecutor. So I shut down that private practice and began prosecuting crimes against children and sex crimes.
Wow.
And that particular docket is probably one of the most challenging legal positions I've held in my 24 plus career, but probably one of the most rewarding. When I was doing that job, I had the opportunity to prosecute a man that had been molesting little boys for 40 years.
Oh,
And
goodness.
just terrible. And so I prosecuted him, and there were two little victims. I want to tell y'all about this because this was probably one of the most profound things that can happen when you are in the trenches really doing, and I really call this the Lord's work when you're defending small children because they're defenseless. And
Yes.
my two victims in that case, I had a 9-year-old and I had a 4-year-old, two little boys. And
Mm.
when you prosecute aggravated sexual assault of children, you bring them into the courtroom to kind of get them used to it, till they'll know what to expect. Well, of course, the defendant's not in the courtroom when you're doing that
Mhm.
practice. Well, when we had the trial, the 9-year-old did great, put him on the stand, he was able to testify. Well, the child advocacy people brought the little 4-year-old into the courtroom, and when they opened the door, he saw the defendant sitting at the table and he burst out crying
Oh, my
and was
goodness.
unable to testify. But we didn't need it. The 9-year-old was did enough, and we ended up getting a guilty conviction, and he got a life sentence. And I
Wow.
found out the day after that trial, I made the front page of the Odessa American, small town back then. That was back in 2005. And
Hmm.
I had a mother call me that had reached out to the local police department back in the early 70s because that man was molesting her little boys and no one did anything. And so
Wow.
that is the crowning moment of my legal career. And led me to move to Austin, worked for state agencies, worked for myself, and I currently work for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. But I spent 20 years in the courtroom prosecuting and defending the same kind of cases that come in front of this bench. And
Hmm.
because of that wonderful experience, I am the law and order judicial candidate in this race. I have already been endorsed by the Combined Law Enforcement Association of Texas, the Texas Municipal Police Association, the Houston Officer Police Union, along with sheriffs in Lubbock, Midland, Ector, Tom Green, Williamson, Denton, Goliad, and Galveston counties. And they've rewarded that work that I've had in the courtroom with all of those endorsements.
Leslie, it sounds like you've had a very extraordinary um, career, not only bringing justice for the victims that waited in this particular case so long to get someone brought to justice, and you were the person to advocate that justice being brought. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. Um, I know you mentioned several counties, you've mentioned several towns and cities within Texas, and that brings me to my next question. For people who are voters who will be out during the primary of 2026, what counties, what region, or what district can you simplify for our voters and our audience hearing us tonight, the area where your name will appear on the ballot?
So this is a statewide bench. My name will appear on the ballot in all 254 counties in the state of Texas.
Amazing.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, that is great. Now, a little bit about for people who don't understand how primaries work, you have just clarified for us your name will appear in every county in the state of Texas. Now, our primaries usually start with an early voting, and I want to say that's typically late February, maybe early March. And
Yes.
you will be on that ballot. Now, it is a contested race, but with your experience, how can people who want to know a little bit more about you, who want to know a little bit about more of the candidacy that you are running, the campaign, how can an individual reach out to you or know or learn more about you?
So I have lots of social media presence. I'm on Facebook, Leslie for Judge. I'm on, I have a website. It's www, and it's Leslie. I spell it Lesli, no E on the end. So it's Leslie, FOR Judge.com. I have an Instagram account, Facebook account, and website. But the website is really the best place to look. And I would like to let your viewers know, I do live in Austin, Texas right now. I work in downtown Austin, but I was born and raised in the Panhandle. I was born and raised in Lubbock, Texas. And
Mm-hmm.
then we moved to Midland, Texas the summer before my sophomore year in high school. And I spent 25 years in the Permian Basin before I moved to Austin in 2006. And I'm a devout Christian, was raised in the Bible Belt, and those are the kinds of values that I will bring to this bench. And so, I spent the first 43 years of my life in the Panhandle and the Permian Basin. So you can take the girl out of those areas, but you can't take that out of the girl. And I am a fifth generation Texan. I absolutely love Texas, love being a public servant, love having the opportunity to run for office.
Yes, it's you bring back memories to me. I flew for 23 years for an airline, and one of the most rewarding overnights for me was Midland for some reason, and it just felt like I wasn't away from home. Lubbock, Midland, those small towns, and they're larger now, but this was 23 years ago. It felt a sense of being at home. So I could totally understand what you just said. Moving on, I did want to touch on you just stated that you do live in Austin at this point in time, but with the campaign that you're running, with the amount of territory that you need to cover, would you be able to tell us if anything is scheduled, maybe in the near or far future, where you'll be attending maybe a Republican women's group or some activity or event where people can actually come and meet you?
Sure. And I have two things coming up. One of them is tomorrow. I'm speaking at the actually, it is the Central Texas Tea Party over in Belton, Texas. And then on Friday, I'm speaking at the Lost Pines Republican Women Club meeting, which is in Bastrop. And both of those things are on my social media, and would love to have anyone come join me. Those are the two things that I have in the immediate future. And with the holidays, it gets kind of interesting. Of course, won't have anything for Thanksgiving, but hopefully in December, I'll be able to get out some more.
Well, I do invite our guests to come and hear the presentation that Ms. Lesli had actually given on November the 1st. It is posted and it's linked to our website at www.SaturdayMenudoClub.com. And I guarantee you, you won't be disappointed. There is tons of information that is shared with the viewer. And as Ms. Lesli just stated, 254 counties throughout Texas. So she'll be visiting. Keep your eye out on her website, and I'll have her repeat it so that the viewer can go back and just verify, check the dates, maybe check an event that may be close to them. Could you please repeat that for us?
Sure, it's www.lesli, Lesli, for Judge, JUDGE.com, LeslieForJudge.com.
Well, we do invite you to come back to the Saturday Menudo Club. It was, like I said earlier, captivating to hear you speak and the stories, the knowledge that you bring. You can't measure that with um, any other experience. You have firsthand experience on this. And I truly appreciate you standing up for justice, especially for people that are voiceless, especially children. So that really struck a chord with me is so much that's going on in our societies and our communities. We need good, strong leaders to help us, to lead us when we are in our darkest times. And I do thank you for being that, for standing up. I know it takes a lot of sacrifice for a person to put their name down as a candidate. So,
Well,
Jen,
and I want to share one other thing that's really important to me as well. I have been a member of the Texas Judicial Commission on Mental Health since its inception back in 2018. I've served on the collaborative council to that body because of my expertise with mental health and substance use disorder. And when that commission came into being back in the spring of 2018, former Chief Justice Nathan Hecht of our Supreme Court charged this body with fixing mental health in our justice system. And so I have had the pleasure of serving on that body, and we're working toward that end. So I bring that to this bench as well. I feel like God has just fortified me with the right kind of experience for the right kind of job. I tell people I'm having my Esther 14 moment right now. I'll let your viewers know this is not my first judicial race. I ran for the Third Court of Appeals here in Central Texas back in 2022. I lost by 2%. 500,000 people voted for me. And I believe that God had me run that race to get me ready for this race. None of my opponents have ever run for office. I tell people, when they ask me about my opponents, they're good people, but they're just applying for the wrong job. I clearly think that God allowed them to come into the race so people can clearly see that I am the front runner and the choice for this bench.
well, I've worked in elections as the deputy primary director for Harris County, and one of the things that I valued most when a candidate came in was integrity. That and their morals and their values. You can honestly tell when a person is genuine, and I honestly see that in you. So I wish you well in your race.
Thank you.
Andy, is there a way, can you recap our audience, or someone who is curious to know, how can they view this video or other videos? Will it be posted to our website?
So we have a section called the Saturday Menudo Club ZoomCast. So we do a feature every time we have a new guest. We put, their interview at the top, and those are in a playlist. So if you click the link, it goes back to the past interviews for the ZoomCast. Same thing for the events. Everyone's recorded, and so we have a link to a playlist there as well.
And once again, I'm going to recap. Our website is www.saturdaymenudoclub.com. We also have an active Facebook page for those of you that are active on Facebook, and it is linked to our Instagram. So please join us, view the candidates that are on our website. I can guarantee you these are 100% genuine, honest, integrity driven candidates. So I'd like to thank you once again, Lesli, for joining us tonight. I wish you well again on your campaign. Andy, do you have anything else to add?
Yes, another, Carmen and I are Marine veterans, and of course, the Marines have strong discipline and instant justice for deviation from their protocols, procedures, and so they really inspire integrity and duty and being responsible for your area of expertise. And so, as watchmen, and we care about this country and the direction that it's going. Of course, we're also readers and students of history, and of course, when you understand the history of judges and the importance of judges, not just in the Bible, but just in history in general, it's important that we have these good justice, not tyrannical justice and that kind of stuff that we've seen in, across the nation, either apathy or not, working the dockets like they need to, et cetera. Right. So it seems to be that the conservative judges are the ones you want. If you ever have to go to court, you want a good judge. Right. But also in reading your background, I've done some work work with prison ministries, and these ministries are trying to catch these people so that they don't recidivism? So can you just give a little bit of brief on your Texas TCDJ experience?
Texas Department of Criminal Justice. I'm Director of Special Litigation. And so I work with the Law Enforcement Defense Division for the Office of Attorney General and handle the types of cases that come in front of this bench. A lot of your Eighth Amendment issues in regards to cruel, unusual punishment, air conditioning, which has been a big thing in our prison systems, and transgenderism. So I get a lot of the novel, cutting edge cases that you hear about in the news all the time. And so, having been there since March of 2023, I also have the institutional knowledge because this court is an automatic appeal of death penalty cases, writ cases regarding bail issues, and then petitions for discretionary review, which are cases that have worked their way up through the appellate system, but that's discretionary. The court gets to decide whether they want to take the case up or not.
Your qualifications sound amazing, Lesli, and I really do hope our viewers go and visit your website. And if by chance they are close to an event that you will be attending, get that firsthand conversation with you.
Right. Well, and one more thing, I know we're about to end. I'm the
You're great.
daughter of a Navy veteran, and I love veterans, and I love what y'all are doing, and I have a deep affinity for our armed services. So thank both of you for your service, for the opportunity to be on here with you this evening. I'm just eternally grateful for the opportunity and the exposure. It just means so much. So thank you both.
Absolutely. Well, we are thrilled to be speaking with you again. I know when we were in our meeting on November the 1st, we not only had great lively conversation, but it was extremely educational. So, and I hope our viewers do reach out to you. If there are volunteers that want to contact your campaign, is volunteer positions something that are also being offered?
Yes, they can. We have a place on my website where if they want to sign up and help us, by all means, because like I said, this is a grassroots campaign and we welcome all help, all volunteers that, love justice, love the rule of law and the Constitution, and want to ensure that those sacred documents remain in place and continue to guide the justice system the way they have for nearly 250 years.
Amen to that. Well, thank you once again for joining us tonight. We will hopefully have this video prepared. Andy, is it 24 hours or 48 hours?
Yes, it takes time for Zoom to process, but yeah, it'll be ready tomorrow morning.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you, Carmen. We got another great interview in the can. That's an industry term, by the way. That's a wrap. I don't know. I guess in court you pound the gavel, right? We don't have a gavel for this Zoomcast yet, but we may get one. So thank you, Lesli, again for being a part of this Zoomcast. This is incredible. We just have a good time with it, and of course we would probably do this all the time if we can turn this into a full-time gig, right, Carmen? Just interview people, right? Bring a spotlight. Again, you've been watching the Saturday Menudo Club ZoomCast, better than a podcast, and join us at SaturdayMenudoClub.com. Ya no mas.